All right. Hello, everybody. I wanted to do an important update for all of you. Okay, this is not a pre-scheduled webcast or anything of that nature. This is just an important update video, and I wanted to do a live stream because we can take questions here in a little bit, just in regards to the weeks and the months to come. All right. So, as of course we are witnessing right now, wherever you are in the world, that there is a grand takedown taking place, right? And this is going to continue as we move into the later portion of 2020 and moving into 2021. So we are seeing a lot of government corruption. We're seeing a lot of these world leaders basically being exposed. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video was just to basically share what a couple other people have been sharing as well too. It does relate to Canada, but not just to Canada, also to other countries, because there is an attempted agenda that a lot of these world elitists are trying to administer, right? So again, we're seeing, for example, in Australia, right, about a second quarantine lockdown that's taking place there. There is also the intention for them to try and roll this out into my home country of Canada, all right? So when you guys look at the video description, all right, you go to the video description and you'll see two links there. And this does relate to the idea of their so-called Orwellian based agenda, okay? Very much something out of 1984. Now, the good news, because I go through my inner guidance, right? The good news that I have received is that Spirit constantly says you don't have to worry about this, right? There is already so much retaliation and so much intervention that's taking place with this agenda or attempted agenda that it is going to fall apart, and that we are basically going to witness the death of these corrupt agendas as we move more into 2021. But it's just important that we are becoming aware about what is taking place, about what is happening, because we also have an opportunity to create a quickening, to create an acceleration of a takedown as well too. So again, when you look at those two other linked videos in the video description, you'll find information about not just what they're trying to do with Canada, but what they're trying to do with many other countries as well too, is to try and create a second COVID, COVID-21 as they call it, trying to create these agendas of debt relief, right? Trying to free yourself from debt. These are traps. Do not take them, all right? Basically, what they're trying to do is trying to take people's property away, right? Basically, take your home and use it to their own means by actually doing like these debt forgivenesses, debt relief programs as well too. And they're trying to do this with the United States as well too, right? Don't kid yourself, right? Many countries all over the world are basically being targeted to have this Orwellian-based agenda rollout, okay? It may also relate to the idea of greater 5G construction as well too, right? To try and do 5G rollouts. Some countries have fortunately banned those, which is great. But what I'm basically getting to is I'm just letting you guys become aware of some of the stages of these agendas that they're trying to roll out. And they're trying to roll this out as soon as November, right? To Canada. So again, a lot of my audience in the majority sense is American. Okay, that's the kind of funny thing. I'm Canadian, but I have a lot more American friends and a lot more American contacts, and quite a bit of European and actually a lot of Australian contacts as well too. But I don't have that many Canadian contacts. That's kind of the funny thing, right? So what I'd recommend is just being able to either share this video or share the videos that are contained in the video description as well too, just so you're getting an overview about what they are trying to roll out. Like I said, I feel that they will fail miserably, but they will certainly try to roll these out in stages, all right? And they, again, will play the wolf in sheep's clothing, all right? So it's as I've talked about before, that wherever there is corruption in your country, from whatever country you're from, if you have a corrupt form of government, if there is corruption going on in your country, you will witness its destruction as we move into 2021, okay? But as we start to get the word out and as more people become aware of this, we can create a greater acceleration, right? A lot of these things can now start to come ahead on a much more larger level. Yes, like Toronto, Ontario is pretty much going to get the brunt of this, I think more so than any other area of Canada at first, but they are looking to roll out with the major population centers as well too, and creating this type of Orwellian-based agenda, right? So basically trying to seize your property, basically creating self-isolation centers, which could also be referred to as concentration camps, okay? They're trying to roll out a special type of passport, right? Trying to inoculate people with COVID-19 and COVID-21 vaccines as well too. And it's just all of this garbage. But if we look at the signs about where things are going right now, their entire empire is just being torn apart. It's being ripped apart at the seams, right? People are starting to see exactly what's happening to the Biden family. There's, again, data dumps that are now going to start increasing. We can probably expect weekly data dumps from this point forward, right? Even after October, going into November, December, and then, of course, going into 2021, the year of transition. So a lot of these data dumps are going to be happening. There are so many whistleblowers that are going to come through. A lot of them are either military or ex-military, basically maybe involved in the CIA, the FBI, NSA, etc. All of these different whistleblowers contained within these different organizations, and again have contacts, are just spilling the beans here, right? We're opening up a big can of worms. And for those of us, again, who may not be prepared for a lot of this information, you're going to be shocked to your core, all right? You are really going to see that there are monsters upon this planet. And a lot of these monsters, or wolves in sheep's clothing, is exactly what they represent, right? Now, there will come a point where they will completely run out of lies, and they will rip off that sheep costume, okay? And you are going to see them as insidious beings, right? Really, really sick, really gross, really nasty. And they may just start to try and create chaos. These people that, again, have been responsible for all of the wars on the planet, that have been part of corrupted religions, that have been part of all of this conflict and chaos for the past many thousand years on this planet, are finally going to get exposed. This has never happened in previous generations. This has never happened in previous civilizations as well, too. You are basically going to see the eyes of the beast, right? You're going to see its face. And like I said, the more that all of us are together in this, and that we're putting our foot down, and we're saying, no, we're not going to let you come into our country and try to put an Orwellian model of life into our country. That's not going to happen, right? Which means it's all about not falling for it. Now, you're going to have people in the way that are going to try and protect the government, that are going to try and defend them, that are going to try and defend all these leaders and say, come on, they're good. They're only trying to do these things to help humanity. And people are very, very brainwashed. I mean, these people are beyond human. I don't think they even have any shred of humanity left within them. They basically, I would refer to them as aliens in human bodies, the best way I could put it. So again, what I'm doing in this video is not trying to create fear, is not trying to create any particular form of misguided approach that this is trying to intimidate you in any way. But it's basically just being informed. This is actually what the light does, okay? When you're working with love, when you're working with the purity of light, it's going to show you about exposing these agendas, because we have to look at how love works. When you put love into your body, what happens is that it goes deeply into your body. It takes all the filth and it pulls it right out of the body, and it comes right to the surface. And as we continue to work with love accumulation, that energy starts to dissipate and dissolve away. Here's what love does not do, right? If we are not working with love. If we are not working with love, we have all of this great information that we're keeping for ourselves. We have all of this great information that we are not going to share with other people, and that we're going to try and conceal it into ourselves and saying, oh, I'm not getting involved. I'm not going to do this. Well, then you're not serving light. You're not serving love whatsoever when you're keeping these things to yourself. It is all about that work with others. It is all about being able to convey this light, to share this light, to work with this love, and to expose it. This is exactly the natural vibrational state of what love does. Love will pull out that debris. Love will pull out that gunk. Love will neutralize that gunk. And love will annihilate that gunk, because it is completely unnatural. Right? That's what's being done here in this video. That's what many other people who are going out on a limb and sharing all of this information, who basically have leaked documents, and they're leaking video, and they're leaking audio, and they're getting all of this evidence relating to the members of these corrupt elites, these elitists. Again, not even really elitists, just globalists or old regime members, as I commonly refer to them as. So again, these people deserve, a great deal of support and help in being able to risk their own careers, risk their lives, risk their families, to being able to bring this information to us, to say, hey guys, whatever we thought these leaders were, they're not. They're insidious, pathetic excuses for human beings. They're not even human, like I said. A lot of them basically are aliens, demonic entities, parasites in that way, that have inhabited human bodies, right? And maybe in the times ahead, that'll be revealed a lot more, because people will say, oh, come on, Brad, you're just pulling my leg here. It's like, okay, well, like I said, I'm only going to share what I'm receiving. And it's up to you guys to discern relating to that nature. But again, a lot of people are coming out and sharing this information. It is going to be a bumpy time. Like I said, in the weeks, especially in the weeks ahead, a lot of bumpiness, a lot of rough roads. Okay, there's going to be a lot of lies. There's going to be a lot of slander. And that's the only way that these entities, maybe that's the best way to refer to them as, the only way that these entities actually can defend themselves. They have to defend themselves with lies, with denial, with excuses, and with fear, right? That's the only way they know how to defend themselves. And they can't do anything else, because there's nothing about truth that is within them, right? All they know how to do is lie. All they know how to do is accuse. All they know how to do is defend. All they know how to do is deny. That's it. And when you see people like that, okay, I need to run a background check on this guy. I need to run a background check on this girl, right? So if it's basically a lot of these world leaders that are coming up on the podium and they're saying, oh, no, we're really behind the idea of bettering humanity and all that stuff, and you can just smell the BS on them, right? That's when you're doing your own research. That's when you're doing your own true fact checking, right? And saying, yeah, there's a lot of scandals that this person has been involved with. There's a lot of horrible things that they've been involved with. Well, then right? It's transparent. Everything's really available online nowadays, right? So again, you're doing your data research. You're doing your investigations yourselves, and you're seeing these particular people as they are. So again, I wanted to do this video to just give you guys a heads up. This is what they're trying to do in Canada. This is what they're trying to do with many other countries all over the planet, is create the 1984 George Orwell-like society, okay? But as I have said, it will fail miserably. It may also end as soon as it begins. It all depends on us. That's up to us. That's our call, right? If we have a lot of people behind this and saying, we're not putting up with your BS, get out of here, and we're going to continue to expose you. We're going to get the filth, we're going to get the gunk out of the earth body. So the body of the earth, putting all this love, all this light, all this truth into it, and now blah, feeling all this sputum of debris and lies and corruption. And again, what love is going to do through vibrational physics is dissolve it, is neutralize it, is disintegrate it, turn it into the pure essence of goodness again. And that comes through us. We are the antibodies, everybody. We are the white blood cells, right? And again, you have to look at our body has been invaded. Our earth body has been invaded by parasites. It has been invaded by aliens. It has been invaded by interdimensionals, okay? It has been invaded by all of this particular debris that has been able to get over, or tried to get all of this rule applied to emperors and kings and queens of the ancient past, and we've been dealing with this for many thousands of years. It's time for it to go. It's time for it to be released, and that's exactly what we're doing when we're doing all this love work, when we're doing exposure work, because they really are one and the same, right? So this is what I want to share with everybody. If you guys do have any questions in regards to what I'm sharing right now, you can feel free to put it on the live chat, because I will take some questions if you guys do have some live chat. I'm not going to try and make this video too long, right? It's just a reminder video about what's happening. Now, of course, I've talked about the point of no return. And like I said, on November 6th, I'm going to be doing that webinar with Adronis, and he's going to come through and talk a lot about the point of no return, right? Because that's an important topic as well. But like I said, in the weeks ahead, we're going to see a lot of chaos. We're going to see a lot of upheaval. We're going to see a lot of lies. We're going to see a lot of slander. And as we come into the months ahead, we're going to see the pillars of these old corrupt empires falling apart. We're going to see these old agendas falling apart at the seams. There will be such an overwhelming amount of people in every country that is affected by this. It's almost like I could see a vision where you have like hundreds of thousands of people, and it's like you have like these ancient Roman temples, and they're pushing these pillars down, and the entire foundation is just crumbling. Everybody's cheering. Everybody's cheering. It's like I can see like these visions of like people taking these world elitists out of their homes and like handcuffing them and like throwing them on the street and said, deal with him now, deal with him now. These are, again, kind of like the visions that I'm getting. It doesn't mean it has to be literal, but it's letting me know that there's a lot of things that are taking place, right? The foundations and pillars of these old, corrupt elitists and their agendas are going to be just thrown down by the people. It kind of goes back to like what Jesus was saying about the temple, in regards to, you see these stones, not one stone will be left remaining. There will be not one stone upon another that will not be thrown down, right? It's exactly what's happening. This is like the idea of the true coming of Christ, not Jesus, but Christ, right? The Christ consciousness is basically going to come upon the planet, which is doing right now. And we are all these people pushing down these pillars, and we're just watching this foundation just crumbling to the ground. And it's like, yeah, like they're just cheering and celebration and all of this. And again, I may feel that this is partially literal and partially figurative, but nonetheless, it's it's really something that is on the verge right now. And like I said, we're just going through this transient tunnel right now and seeing a lot of this exposure taking place and seeing this downfall taking place. And I know there's a lot of people that are still rooting for these other elitists or these globalists or these old regime members. And I'm sorry to tell you guys, but you guys are on the wrong side, right? And you want to really do your work. And if you guys just buy into what another person is saying on a television set or what they're saying in regards to this without actually being able to go in and even just looking at this person's heart, right? Looking at their eyes, pausing the video and just looking at their eyes, is like you can feel it, right? It's not a pleasant energy. I'm not saying Donald Trump is an angel himself, right? He has his own issues as well too. But again, when it comes to a lot of these things relating to everything we've gone through with looking into pedophilia and looking into sacrifice and looking into child trafficking and looking into all this stuff and now trying to create this Orwellian model. No, when you see those people that are truly behind this, right, you look into their eyes and you know there is a very harsh, disgusting, despicable presence there. And anyone who is an empath can feel this, all right? This is not about belief. This is about truth. This is about exactly what you are feeling in that moment, instantly, right? And that is how you discern. Okay, so let me go to some of the questions here. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit here, just up the chat. So again, like I said, guys, this is recorded. If you need to go back to it, you can. Literally a reptilian agenda. Absolutely. This is Draco. This is draconian energy all around it from what they're trying to do with Canada, what they're doing with Australia, what they're trying to do with the United States, what they're doing with England, what they're doing with every single country that has had some form of corruption and corrupt leadership and corrupt politician and corrupt government. It's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to make this a worldwide model. They honestly believe that if they try and roll out COVID a second time, it's going to be more effective. They are absolutely stupid. They are so stupid, and they are so desperate, and they are so idiotic that the more that they try to retaliate with their own agendas, the quicker they're going to get buried. And that's exactly this whole agenda, with the Orwellian agenda, is that we're going to, and come November, we're going to start rolling this out, we're going to make this happen. And all that stuff. Are you guys kidding me? You're just making your graves more and more deep, right? The more that they retaliate, and I keep seeing this, like I just keep track of this, especially over the last little while, is that the more that they try to retaliate and deny, the more that this story on a counter level is going to explode. There's going to be more data dumps. There's going to be more revealing. And like I said, this is all draconian-based agendas, and these have been planned for a very, very long time, which means they do not change. They are not evolutionary in any way. They are, again, a particular form of symbolism of everything that represents the old corrupt ways. People who see past those old corrupt ways are going to be, shining rays of light that are going to prosper into the times ahead. And people who cannot see this, who are too close-minded, they are going to go down with a sinking ship. That's exactly what this represents. Their butt of their ship is way, way down here, and they're now just going to start sinking. And we would love to try and pull as many people off that boat as we can. We're stretching out our hand, but if they're going, bah, want nothing to do with you, my government will save me, my world leaders will save me, my politicians will save me, these leaders will save me, and they will go right into the ocean, okay? And that's exactly what's going to happen, in a way, on a figurative level, right? Is that they are going to be so absolutely shocked about what is released pertaining to a lot of these old elitists and world leaders and politicians, all of these guys, about who they really are and what they've really been doing. We're going to see exactly this entire plan. We're going to see this entire plan unfold. Not only are we probably going to see, the truth of 9/11 or anything of that nature, but it's seeing the entire plan of these Satanists, of these draconian-based people that have been slaves to these overlords, right? And so whenever I'm seeing like Bill Gates on the video, where he's on the Tonight Show or something like that, and it's like, oh, well, isn't that interesting? Stephen Colbert is talking to his overlord right now. You can see the forked tongue, right? So again, it's all signs that this is an old draconian empire. Draco aren't even really on the planet anymore, but they're still carrying out these draconian-based philosophies and draconian-based systems and all that. And they are so archaic, and they are so unbelievably revolting and primal that they will never survive the new vibration that the Earth is radiating at, right? We are a part of an Earth that is radiating so high in frequency. This is exactly why all this exposure is happening in the way it is. None of that particular form of future or agenda is ever going to cement itself into our timeline because it is far too dense. There is no place on this planet that would ever support a vibrational level as that. And again, we're just seeing the complete and total plummeting of these old systems altogether. So again, it's really a blessing to see all this fall apart, right? Will they reveal that they are reptilian? I doubt it. They're not going to reveal anything, right? Basically, what's going to happen is that it's through exposure, right? It's through proof. It's through what people find through documents, through videos, through audio, through any other form of submitted evidence that, again, is about showing these people who they really are. They are never, ever going to, through their own mouth, admit that they're Satanists. They're never going to admit that they're wrong. They're never going to admit that they're evil. They're never going to admit that what they are doing is out of sorts or out of alignment, right? They are going to feel like they are saints. These people think that they're angels, guys. These people think that they're right. These people think that it's right to go ahead and kill off the majority of the population of the planet and to enslave humanity because humanity doesn't know any better, right? That's their justification. They think they're angels. They think this is divine providence, right? No, they're not going to do it. They'd rather say you guys are reptilians, right? You guys are standing against us. Well, all these guys here, Brad himself, and everybody on the live chat, you guys are the reptilians, right? That's their justification. That's what they would do. So I'm not evil. I'm loving. I'm a saint here. I'm sent by God, and I'm pure love or whatever, right? That's their mentality. They are never, ever going to admit that they are wrong, right? Basically, as much as I don't like to say it, a lot of these guys are going to be taken down, right? They may actually be trialed or they may be executed because when the public starts to see exactly what they have done, the people are basically going to find the highest yardarm and basically tie the noose and will want to hang them off the highest yardarm. That's exactly what the people want. I don't, particularly care for that kind of stuff, but that's what the people are wanting to do. They said, let's find the highest yardarm, let's find the highest gallows and hang them off it. That's really it is. These people will want to hang these people, right? maybe throw them through a wood chipper or something. I don't know. It's not going to be pleasant, though, once they're fully exposed, because they're going to be fully exposed. And again, 2021 really is that year of transition, that year of takedown. So like I said, we're really going to experience a humdinger of a year together. What is Orwellian? Read 1984, George Orwell. Okay? Orwellian future. All right? 1984, George Orwell. You guys should know that one. It's a classic. Will reptilians ever expose themselves to the mass public? No, I highly doubt it, because a lot of them aren't even on the planet right now. A lot of them have been dragged off the planet, right? They've basically been taken out. A lot of them were underground. A lot of them were in Antarctica as well, too. A lot of them were even in, again, other areas kind of like above orbit of the planet. And a lot of them are being taken down. There's a lot of associations, there's a lot of administrations on a cosmic level that have worked to take them off the planet, sometimes voluntarily, mostly forcefully. But again, I don't think they're going to be a part of our future at all in regards to this particular group. In the times ahead, we may start to meet beings that are like that, but do not have any particular type of alignment like that. So to me, it's highly doubtful. I mean, I have talked to people who have independently, met some of these beings as well too, and they are horrible. They're just horrible, horrible beings. So I do not feel that that's going to be in our future, but other beings that do represent of a reptile nature, probably, most likely in the times ahead once humanity starts to become galactic. Okay, going down here. Brad, do you think they are going to try and pull the internet or power grid on a sense to separate it so we can't unite when that time comes? If they do, it's going to be very, very short term. And I do not feel that it will actually be them that pull it. I actually feel it's more so the alliance nations, right? When I refer to the alliance nations, these are the nations that are coming together in cooperation to expose these types of people, because they were once a part of these groups as well too, and they have had a change of heart, right? And so they're moving into higher states of alignment. They're moving into wanting to have prosperity for humanity. And so there's a lot of different groups that are coming together. There has been talk about trying to cut off the internet maybe for a few days, but at best, I think that's as long as it's going to last. I don't even know if they're going to do that. To me, that feels like a last case scenario. I don't think we need to do that. So again, all we can really do is just share probabilities here, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. They're getting ready here in Canada to move forward their plan to take what we own. And if we do not comply, we're dragged into these camps somehow. Will there be any help? What do you see? I don't see that happening. Okay, that's the funny thing, Carol. All right, I don't see that happening on a larger scale. They have prepared for a lot of these things. They have built some of these particular self-isolation centers. I mean, many people who actually come back to Canada from a flight will actually go to self-isolation centers if they do not have an appropriate place to self-isolate, right? So that's already been built in that way. But as far as the majority, in regards to taking away their property, over many Canadians' dead bodies, right? You're talking about Canadians, again, there's kind of an American, energy to them relating to retaliation. If they ever tried to do something like that, they would be met with so much retaliative force in Canada, in the United States, everywhere, right? They will never be able to pull this off, guys. Like I said, there's a very big difference between a blueprint agenda and actually doing it, okay? The first attempt at COVID has failed, all right? Really, it is a failure because they were not able to bring it into what they felt that they could. They're trying to amp it up now a lot more to try and make it feel like it's going to be more deadly and all that, but people are already so awake regarding to what COVID represents, they'll call bullshit immediately, right? So my feeling is that this is going to collapse just as soon as it begins. But the only way that we're actually going to have an acceleration is when we are able to share a lot of this information and expose it on a larger level, right? That's where the acceleration comes in. That's why I'm just doing my part on my channel. My channel, I know, is not super popular. It's got some people, and that's great. But again, I'm just doing my part and sharing this information for people, okay? And just passing this information on so that more people are being made aware. Because like I said, it's not just Canada, it's for the rest of the world. They're trying to do this on a global level. And they will be met with so much harsh retaliation. It's literally just going to cause them to piss their pants because they will not believe how much humanity is awoken. And they underestimate us big time. They just think we're just a bunch of moronic idiots and we're just going to obey every single word they say. No. there is so much more of a retaliation. This really represents the revolution, right? About just seeing all of their infrastructure being taken down. So like I said, in November, they're going to try and do all this stuff in Canada. They're going to try and create all these stage plans and all that, and people are going to revolt. People are going to retaliate. And this is going to lead into 2021, where basically we may not even have a Canada in 2021. We may not even have a United States in 2021, all right? There's a lot of suggestions that states will actually become independent, okay? The United States of America will actually break up. This may also happen with Canada, that provinces may actually break up from Canada, kind of like what Quebec wanted to do with Canada quite a long time ago, is basically break off from Canada. With a lot of this happening, that could also happen with Canada. I don't know if it'll be 2021, but that's a possibility as well too. And it could also be with other places around the world as well too. Different states, different provinces, different districts wanting to break off of the idea of the country because they're trying to apply these into a country model. Okay, well, here's Canada. Well, guess what? There's no more provinces in Canada. We're breaking off and we're being independent. So you can't touch us, right? It's the same thing with the United States. All right, we'll do this to California. We'll do this to New York. Nope. We're going to branch off and we're going to be completely independent. You can't touch us now, right? That's really actually one of the solutions, right? Is that you break off from the United States of America, you break off from Canada, you break off from all these different countries, and these provinces and territories become independent, right? And that way they can't touch you because there's no legislative in regards to that when there's an independently claimed province or territory, right? That's the solution, right? British Columbia, Canada would just be British Columbia. Maybe it'd have another name assigned to it. California would be California, an independent state. It would have nothing to do with the United States anymore. That's where I think we're going, guys. That is what the momentum in regards to astrology, in regards to numerology, to my own source, to what it's saying is that the United States of America will most likely die, right? There will be independent states. Canada will most likely die. There will be independent provinces, right? And we go into other countries and they'll be branching off as well too, because that's the solution, right? If they're trying to put this into their law and saying, no, Canada is going to be this, well, there's not going to be a Canada left then, right? And that's exactly what the people can do. People have the power to do that. So we can branch ourselves off and make ourselves completely independent and not be under any governing laws pertaining to the United States of America or Canada or any other country, right? That may have to be one of the solutions, right? It's a big probability. Okay, let me go down the list here a bit more. Yeah, absolutely. You can get a sense of evil when you look at them. The eyes can tell, their body actions, just their aura, just their essence, you can feel it, right? Absolutely. Again, I don't really like talking about this stuff, guys, but I mean, it's just come to the point where I think we have to, right? I wonder if Trudeau will try to start a universal basic. That is actually part of the plan. Yeah, if you guys watch the videos in my video description, one of the plans is that they're trying to create a universal basic income, and they're trying to create a false digital currency, all right? This is not Bitcoin, right? This is not Ethereum or anything like that. This is their own fiat-based digital currency, where they basically just have fiat in numbers. There's no value. It's all out of thin air altogether. So yeah, they're trying to create a universal basic income. They're trying to relieve your debt. They're trying to create their own financial system, right? Do not fall for it. Do not be in any way a part of that garbage, right? Because that's all part of control. They need your consent to do this. If they do not have your consent, they really can't even do anything to you, right? So this is the whole idea, is you do not have any form of consent. You oppose it with every form of your being because it's filth, right? And again, what does love do? Love clears away the filth. It dissolves it. And we got to dissolve the filth, all right? Going down a bit more here. Crystal Princess says, do you think we should vote definitely in person? My boyfriend wants to vote in person. Do you think it's an account? I don't know, guys. That's something that's a judgment call. I personally have not voted at all because there's nothing in regards to any agendas. Like even when I'm here in BC, in British Columbia, we have an election, right? None of the parties are in any form of best interest to me. So this is, again, why I've said, forget it, not doing it. And it won't really matter anyways because those parties are going to be imploding here in the next year or so anyways. So I have not voted at all, and I don't plan to because none of them represent any agendas that I want to be a part of. So like I said, it's going to be crumbling at the seams. Wait till 2021 comes, guys. It's a year of death. That's what it is, right? And it's a death of the elite. We are going to see the corrupt die before our eyes next year, right? 2022 comes, it's the year of rebirth. Very, very positive year. Okay, when we go into 2022, really positive. 2021 is kind of like a continuation of 2020, right? There's going to be a lot. I don't really want to spoil it because I'm going to be doing a big video on it in November with Adronis, but it is a continuation of 2020, which means it's going to be intense, but it's going to be intense in a different way. We're really going to see all of the constructs of these old empires just falling apart before our eyes. People will see intense disclosure, intense exposure, intense takedowns of these corrupt people. It'll be right in front of your face, right? That's how intense this is going to be, right? People are just going to be revolting. Like I said, there's going to be a possibility of, again, states becoming independent. It is the death of these old systems completely. It is a year of death, all right? So that's why I call it the year of transition, not to make it sound too harsh, but it really is a year of death. Okay. Valorous says, Brad, I have one single question. Is the light going to win this W4R? Or 4? And we don't need to worry about anything because everything that is going to happen is set to the highest timelines. Guys, the reason why we're having all of this happen right now is because of the light. Okay? If we were not going through any particular type of change, there would not be situations like this unfolding. You would not have data dumps, right? You would not have whistleblowers. You would not have exposures. You would not have disclosures. You would not have these world leaders pissing their pants because they are terrified of the people. This is all part of the light coming upon the planet. We cannot fail. All right? Now, looking into a lot of ancient prophecies, if we're going back into Native American prophecies, if we're going back into the prophecies of the ancients, etc., there are many different prophecies that foretell of this time, the book of Revelation, for example. But here's something that they all agree with. Now, please pay attention to this. Here's what all of the ancient prophecies agree with. Humanity will prevail. Period. All right? Every single one of them says that. That yes, there's a lot of uproar. Some people even thought of World War III, etc. That we're going through a lot of crap. But at the end of it all, humanity wins. Humanity prevails. And here's an interesting thing, guys. Since the post-atomic era, humanity has already prevailed. As soon as you bring the waves of volunteers coming upon this planet to clean it out, you've already won, right? There are such advanced beings on this planet, some of them are even unseen, that would never in a million years let any form of tyranny or any form of Orwellian-based agenda systems to come upon this world, right? It is basically being exposed so that we can see all of these people responsible for trying to make these agendas happen, so that they are taken out of the culture, they are taken out of the civilization, they are not a part of it, and they are trialed or they're executed or something of that nature, right? And we are just cleaning house. We're cleaning the house. We're basically taking all these parasites, pulling them out of our body and dealing with them, right? Exposing them, dissolving them. That's what's happening. Okay, guys? We have won this ever since the post-atomic era. Okay? This has already been an assured victory for the past 70, 80 years. Okay? Now, basically, the entire planet, I'm basically telling you guys from what I received from Spirit yesterday regarding other planets. Okay? Other planets have also gone through enslavement agendas like this. Not as deeply as the Earth. But what happens is as soon as there is a voluntary-based program of volunteers, or a wave of volunteers, I would say, that come upon the planet, within 1 century of time, that planet will return to the light. Okay? As soon as the volunteers come onto the planet, their game is over. The agendas are finished. The corruption dies. And it takes less than a century for that to happen. If we're looking at the post-atomic era, which is about 70, 80 years ago, for example, around that area, and we have these waves of volunteers, because there were waves of volunteers that were coming just before the drop of the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. Okay, waves of volunteers were coming onto the planet just before that time was happening. All right, so again, you give Earth 1 century to where there are waves of volunteers. Dolores Cannon has talked about this in her work. Okay, she refers to the 3 waves of volunteers. I call it the 4 waves. Okay, I see 4 waves, not 3. But that's just my perspective. But as soon as you have those wave of volunteers, the intelligence of the planet gets so incredibly powerful. The light upon the planet gets so incredibly powerful. And the reason why the light is so powerful upon the planet is because of you guys. Is because of you volunteers. Is because of people that are spreading so much love, so much happiness, so much exposure upon the planet that it uplifts it. It's moving into a new dimension. Right? These are people who are doing the grid work. These are people who are sharing love and happiness and help and support to others, right? All of this work is being done. And this creates like a light bulb, right? It's just so radiant, it blinds the darkness. And it's like all of these corrupt leaders are kind of going around like this. They have to shield themselves because the light is so friggin' bright, okay? As soon as you have those wave of volunteers on the planet, corruption is done. They are finished. Finito. Comprende? All right? That's exactly what Spirit told me yesterday. Because I actually did a live video on Facebook yesterday talking about this. As soon as the wave of volunteers here, corruption has its days numbered. Right? It can't beat it. You can't beat the light. Guys, it's not possible. Look what we've been able to do in less than a century with these waves of volunteers. Because before that time, there were no waves of volunteers on the planet. Okay, we'd get little bits of volunteers here and there, but they did not come in waves. They came individually. They came as small specks. And then it started to slowly build itself up until we get into the atomic era, the post-atomic era. And now these waves are getting so intense. Right now, we're just getting a wide assortment of wave volunteers that are coming upon the planet. And the planet is looking so incredibly bright and beautiful and wonderful. And this is why these people are afraid. They're scared to death about all of these new children coming in. This is why they're trying to poison them. They're scared to death of the adults about what they're trying to do. They're trying to enslave them, right? And they're failing. They're failing miserably. These people who truly know their path, their light will shine in any particular way. It's not about them being surfing rainbows and riding unicorns and giggling over whiskers of kittens, all right? They will retaliate. They will oppose. They will get aggressive. They will get attentive to these situations. And they will break the chains. They will not be dominated. And they will be very, very assertive about that. That's where we are, guys. It's inevitable. Light will always prevail when light comes upon the planet. There has not been one particular planet. And again, this is something Spirit has told me last night as well, too. There has not been one single planet that has not been uplifted when volunteers come upon it. Every single planet has prevailed. Humanity itself will prevail. The earth will prevail. Once the light is here, you can't beat it out. Okay? I want you guys to remember that. Repeat after me. Once the light is here, it cannot be beat out. It cannot be beat out. Right? That's where we are. Okay? That's the nature of the volunteers. Once we're here, we've won. And we have won. We're just watching everything fall apart right now, as it needs to, so we can rebuild, reconstruct, redevelop ourselves as a harmonious species, because that's where we're going. I did a session with a dronist today with a woman, and what he said about humanity's future just blew me away. It will be a video I'll be putting up here very soon pertaining to that. Okay. So let me just go up here a little bit more. We'll probably take about 2 or 3 more questions. I'm going to wrap up here pretty quick. They're blinded by the light. It's a marvelous image to keep in our heads. You got it. Absolutely. Kathy, thanks for the contribution. Appreciate it. Marvelous image to keep in our heads. They'll be blinded by the light. Let's radiate in love and light and be a strong light bulb. Yes, exactly. But part of that light bulb is, again, assertiveness. Okay? Don't be afraid to be assertive. Like I said, you're not you know, getting high off riding rainbow unicorns, farting out rainbows. Okay, you're assertive. You're very down to earth here as well too, and you're knowing that you will not be tread over. Okay, very important as well too. Politicians are puppets. You got it. I'm just looking at anything else here. I see a lot of rainbows. That's great. Love to you guys as well too. Thank you. A-Rush says, Brad, have you listened to any of Peter Joseph's perspectives on economics? I have not. No. Question, should we rebel, not wear masks, etc.? That has to be your call. It has to really be your call. If you're basically going into a store, I mean, basically what I do, if I'm in front of a store and they say wear a mask, I have a little bandana that I put on and all that. And I'll do that. But if it's anything that says, oh, you know, publicly you have to wear this, I would tell them to go screw themselves. But yeah, there's times where I'll go into store and they'll require masks, even though it's very unlawful for them to do that. Sometimes I'll just go into the store, I'll put a little bandana on, and I'll go shopping, I'll do my thing, and then come out, take the bandana off. But no, if it's anything in saying, oh, publicly you have to wear masks, no, I tell them to shove it up their ass. So that's just my approach, right? Everybody has their own approach. So you just have to be discerning about that, all right? But yeah, a lot of people are suggesting, you know, tell them to take their masks and shove it up their ass. It's really up to the person. The individual has to decide, right? The mask agenda is going to be over here very soon anyways. Is all this talk about China having troops in Canada true? I have not personally seen any troops. No, okay. I was on Salt Spring Island a couple of weeks ago, and there was a report of Chinese military supposed to be on Salt Spring Island. I went over the island, didn't see any of them, right? There's also reports of them being in Stanley Park in Vancouver, okay? Have not heard any reports about them being there, okay? So my feeling is that it's a ruse, okay? I have not personally seen any. Okay, guys, I think we're going to probably wrap it up for now. So thank you, everybody. I just wanted to give this announcement here. I know it's running a little bit long, and I appreciate all the viewers that are here. So again, please check out the videos in the video description. Please share it around. If you don't want to share this video, share the other videos as well too. Like I said, this is something that is basically trying to unfold in the whole world. Like I said, it will fail, but it's important that we're being informed. It's important that we are spreading the word about this so that we can create an acceleration, right? This is only being created, this video is only being created to create an acceleration effect, that we can actually come together a lot quicker and create a greater impact in regards to the state of exposure and taking all of these parasitical energies down that are trying to threaten this Orwellian-based agenda on us. So please keep that in mind. Share this video if you like. Share the other videos in the link in the video description, okay? And again, I'll be back this week for a Empathic Interfacing Live, and I should have some more videos coming up here this week as well too, all right? Thank you, guys. Much love to you all. Be safe, be well, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care.